Item number SCP-003. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-003 is to be maintained at a constant temperature of no less than 35 degrees Celsius and ideally kept above 100 degrees Celsius. In event of total power failure, assigned personnel must use their body heat to keep SCP-003-1 above the critical temperature. All personnel who have come into contact with SCP-003-1 are to immediately report for sterilization afterwards. SCP-003-1 must not be removed from SCP-003-2 except in case of emergency procedures detailed previously. Any significant change in SCP-003-2's room activity, including pattern, frequency, or color, should be reported within 3 hours of occurrence. Cessation of room activity must be reported immediately. SCP-003-2 must be supplied with power via the source-designated generator 003-IX at all times. Description: SCP-003 was located by remote viewing team SRB-04 Beta. SCP-003 consists of two related components of separate origin, referred to as SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2. SCP-003-1 appears to be composed of chitin, hair, and nails of unknown biology similar to, arranged in a configuration similar to that of a computer motherboard. Testing reveals SCP-003-1 to predate earliest known circuit boards by SCP-003-1 is considered sentient, but not actively dangerous except under certain conditions. SCP-003-1 was found on a stone tablet, SCP-003-2, on which it currently resides. The runes on SCP-003-2 are not part of any known language and flicker with pale tones. These are effects of communication interpretable by... Analysis has shown that SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2 have different origins. SCP-003-2 is controlled by a non-biological internal computer, the contents of which are mostly inaccessible without risk of damaging SCP-003-2. SCP-003-2 is capable of controlled emissions of radiation, including heat, and it is considered probable that SCP-003-2 was created for the purpose of containing SCP-003-1. Methods detailed in Addendum 003-01 have allowed access to some data contained in SCP-003-2. While interpretation is not conclusive, contents may refer to a past and/or potential future class restructuring event caused by SCP-003-1. SCP-003-2 contains an internal power source of, which appears to have been losing power since before discovery by SRB-04 Beta. It appears possible that SRB-04 Beta was deliberately contacted by SCP-003-2 via other organizations have also been alerted to SCP-003's existence, possibly by similar means. Despite this activity, SCP-003-2 does not appear to be sentient, based on its lack of reaction to, including M03 Gloria procedures. When SCP-003 drops below the temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, both components react. First, SCP-003-1 enters a growth state characterized by an exponential increase in mass. This growth state consists of two stages. In both stages, SCP-003-1 partially fuels its growth by converting matter around it, starting with any surrounding inorganic material, including atmospheric elements. Then, non-living organic material, including cells of dead skin, hair, chitin, enamel, keratin, and other biological materials. The first stage is the default stage. The second stage begins when SCP-003-1 comes in contact with living organic material. In its second stage, SCP-003-1 may pause, slow, or change its growth, and will also reprocess inorganic and non-living material elements into functionally similar structures while growth is consistent in the first stage. In the second stage, SCP-003-1's growth rate is diminished by 20 to 90%, so long as SCP-003-1 remains in contact with living organic material. The percentage is determined by the complexity of the organisms in contact with SCP-003-1. As confirmed by readings, SCP-003-1 appears to devote a large amount of processing power to analysis of living organic material. During each of SCP-003-1's growth stages, SCP-003-2 releases bursts of radiation that temporarily inhibit SCP-003-1's growth, or reverse this growth when temperature of SCP-003-1 rises above 100 degrees Celsius. Similar radiation emissions may be produced via Addendum 003-01. Acting on information gathered from linguistic analysis of SCP-003-2's runes, and Research Team M03 Gloria has managed to establish a link between SCP-003 and for analysis of functions. SCP-003-1 must now be considered sentient and is to be kept at a minimum distance of 1 kilometer from and the resulting byproduct at all times. Addendum 003-02. SCP-003-2's power loss has been exacerbated by the procedures performed by M03 Gloria. On orders of O5, M03 Gloria will continue procedures. Addendum 003-03. During this process, SCP-003-1 doubled its mass and began rapid structural growth. Temperature was immediately returned to 100 degrees Celsius. Growth and mass increase of SCP-003-1 continued for 9 minutes and 6 seconds, at which time a sustained radiation spike was produced by SCP-003-2. In response, SCP-003-1 returned to its normal state in 3 minutes and 39 seconds. New growth dissolved into a dusty residue which was collected for analysis. Both SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2 ceased all detectable activity. SCP-003-2 did not resume activity until connected to external power source. SCP-003-2's runes glowed uniformly gray and did not resume normal activity for 3 hours, and afterwards, SCP-003-2 no longer appears to be able to maintain containment area at a temperature above 35 degrees Celsius without external power supplied by Addendum 003-04. The procedure detailed in Addendum 003-03 was repeated, and SCP-003-1 again entered a growth state. After 10 minutes and 13 seconds, SCP-003-2 once again produced a sustained radiation spike. SCP-003-1's growth stopped for 36 seconds, then resumed at its previous base. On quadrupling its mass, SCP-003-1 formed a coherent outer shell and body, which initially took a form similar in shape to an ophiuroid of 15 meters in diameter, formed sensory organs that appeared to scan the surrounding environment, and partially converted its containment area to SCP-003-1 then breached containment, entering the observation gallery where 9 members of M03 Gloria were present. On physical contact with team members, SCP-003-1 entered Stage 2 of its growth, and SCP-003-1 stopped growth for 15 minutes. SCP-003-1 then resumed growth and rearranged the component parts of the center of its form to the shape of a 3-meter-tall female humanoid, with peripheral tentacles shifting to extrude primarily from SCP-003-1's new formed hair and spine. SCP-003-1 then produced rudimentary vocalizations, and an unknown person later identified as approached the compromised containment area in company of a full squad of agents, claimed to be acting on the orders of O5 and attempted communication with SCP-003-1. Agent of M03 Gloria successfully restored power to SCP-003-2 and activated backup generators to return the temperature to 100 degrees Celsius. SCP-003-1 returned to its normal state in 21 minutes and 7 seconds and was successfully recontained without incident. All 9 members of M03 Gloria affected by SCP-003-1 were afterwards found to be physically unharmed, with no residual effects besides minor psychological trauma. The converted materials of SCP-003's former containment area did not dissolve and are now under analysis. Addendum 003-05. In light of the previous incident, 05, by joint decision of 05, 05, and 05, all M03 Glory procedures have been indefinitely suspended.